Today on the 01581, an update from the Westborough Connects and Square One team on falling into wellness, and an update from Westborough TV and other happenings around town. See you on the show. Hi, welcome to this episode of the 01581 Let's Talk. I'm the host of this show, Shelby Marshall. I serve as your select board member, and I play sort of multiple roles here on the 01581. The intent of this show is just to connect you with people that you need to know, events you need to know or want to know about that are happening around town, and to keep you generally updated on some important things around government and other kind of school public service related type things. So today I'm welcomed by guest Laura Cerniglia, Program Manager for Westborough Connects, and Mary Fox, who's a member of the Square One team. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, Shelby.
Yeah,
happy to be here.
And Laura, you've been a guest before. Mary, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
At the end, we have a whole inaugural thing where we'll place a wreath on your head, like completing the marathon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Mary's
kidding.
up for anything.
I know. She's like, oh God, what did I get myself into? But today we're here to talk about fall into wellness and
Fall for wellness.
fall
It's
for
confusing
wellness.
'cause
Sorry.
we changed the name from spring into wellness.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Fall for wellness. Laura, take it away. What
Sure.
is it, and how has this program kind of evolved from its inception?
Right. So we did have it last year as spring into wellness. So if you went to that event, you will see it is very similar. We just decided to change when we're hosting it. Made more sense to have it in September. So it is a free community event, open to all. It will be on Sunday, September 8th from 1 to 4. Also changed the location, so join us at the high school this year.
Got it.
And it is an event which we are putting on as part of our Square One collaborative, as you mentioned, which if people don't know, it is the Westborough Public Schools, Westborough Public Library, the Rotary Club of Westborough, Westborough Youth and Family Services, and Westborough Connects. And we work together to put on programs all focused on substance use prevention and education around mental health.
Excellent.
And
that's for all ages.
It is. It's for all ages, and this fair kind of puts our mission as a group kind of live.
Awesome.
And we're all focused on putting out resources for the community and presenting some live things, active things, where you can benefit your mental your well-being, and just really breaking the stigma of mental health.
Sure.
We're putting on a fair so you can come out, learn what's out there, learn what's for you, and just have a conversation.
Something
get
to
what you
benefit
need.
everyone,
Yes.
for sure, no matter your age. So, so let's talk first about the kind of the informational aspect of it.
Sure.
The expo. What,
Sure.
what can folks expect there?
So in the expo, we have over 30 exhibitors that are coming to spend their time that day. There are so many things, from local things in the community to things that are more regionally based. And they're there, again, to have a conversation with you, show you what resources are out there, get information in your hands.
Excellent.
Also some fun takeaways at those tables. People are willing to give out raffle prizes, so that's always fun to come in. But it's really to get the information that you might not even realize you need now.
Right.
Maybe you need in the future. Maybe
Right.
you know somebody who might need it and you can pick it up for them.
Right.
Also a great place for professionals in the area who work with, all ages with mental health. It's a great place for them to come in and really put a face to the name or to the person they've been talking to on the phone. Come in and meet them in person.
Sure, absolutely, great, excellent. And then, so there's and that's sort of a free-flowing walk through the exhibit.
And also new this year, 2 new areas. Westborough Connects is really focused on social connection and the importance of it and what it does for your health.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a whole area about social connection.
Awesome.
And then we're also going to have an area on how volunteerism is really also beneficial for your health.
Oh,
so a couple of
fantastic.
new areas. And also art activities that you can kind of just drop into.
Great.
Some Zentangles, mandalas, things that
All
are
right.
just
What
fun
was
to
that
sit
last
down
one?
and do. Yeah, I'm not good at pronouncing it. Mandala.
Mandala.
Those circular things where you do some coloring and you sit and really focus in. Yeah.
Excellent, all right, great. And so when you're done kind of maybe walking through the expo, you can, or as part of that, then you can pause. There are some actual activities you can participate in. Mary, tell us a little bit about those.
So currently there are 7 active sessions scheduled. all about 20 minutes or so long, varying things for people of all ages, from yoga to mindful activities and story time for kids. I myself am going to teach Tai Chi. I've been a Tai Chi practitioner for about 19 years now, teaching for the last 15, something I love, near and dear to my heart. It's great for every age, but especially for seniors.
And what is Tai Chi?
Tai Chi is moving meditation.
Okay.
The movements mimic nature, which is what Tai Chi is all about. And in Taoism, it's all about nature. You stand out with the trees, people feel better. There's a new term, forest bathing. That's a little interesting to me, but
I actually saw there was an auction for my hometown for their raising money for project graduation type of thing, and there was a raffle for forest bathing. I was like, "What is this?"
well,
right?
it's something new. But that's exactly what it is. It's taking a walk in nature, hugging a tree.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have a tree post in the middle of my home, so I hug it every morning.
Wow.
And it's just a wonderful way to just sort of forget about the rest of the world. And I actually took my son, who has some mental health challenges, on a walk the other day. I said, "Stop, Charlie, let's just listen."
Yeah.
He said, "What am I listening for?" I said, "Just stop and listen." He heard birds he'd never heard. He heard the water moving in the background. It was very interesting to watch him just sort of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is cool. So that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Really being present, grounded,
Present, grounded.
not distracted by those
nothing.
Those
There was
handheld
nothing.
devices.
He left his phone in the car. I left my phone in
Yep.
the car.
Great.
Yeah.
And Mary did a Tai Chi session for us last year at this, and it was really popular. A lot of
Very
teens
popular,
did it, and
yes.
they had never done it before, and all of a
Great.
sudden she had new fans, and they wanted to continue with it. You know,
Excellent.
that's what it's about. It's kind of like getting a taste.
You sort of
It's
dip
only
your
a
toe in.
20-minute thing,
Right.
but it's a great way to kind of check it out. Do I like this? Do I want to do yoga? I don't know, but let's go, try it out for free for 20 minutes.
Right.
You can.
Right. So activities that you just gave us a sampling of those that everyone can really participate
Everybody
in,
can come participate.
ages from
Yep.
young to oldish.
Yeah, we're doing an intro to
older.
silver
Older.
sneakers, which is really for adults 65 and up. It's done all over, but this instructor's from the YMCA.
Fantastic.
So if you've
Yeah.
ever wondered about that, yeah. And
Great.
the story time for like starting at age 3. You can come and learn about mindfulness starting at age 3.
Love it.
So.
Love it. That's awesome. And then there's some new programming
Yes.
that kind of is more adolescent-based focus. Is that correct? Or family-focused?
Yeah, well, two. So yes, new info sessions. And for all of these things, I will say for both the active and the info session, there is a schedule. Hopefully it'll go up on this screen and then on westboroughconnects.org. Hopefully by next week that schedule will be up. So if you want to look at that ahead of time so you don't miss things, because there are really things throughout the day. But yes, a new element is to have some information sessions, 30-minute sessions. We are having Roger Anderson, who's the Director of Wellness for the schools, and Kim Tynan, she's the Clinical Director. They will be presenting on the most recent results from the Metro West Adolescent Health Survey.
Great.
That covers a wide range of topics: mental health, alcohol and drug use, cyberbullying, for both the teens, starting in 7th grade, I believe it's 7th through 12th grade in Westborough, but all of Metro West. And so they're going to be presenting the data from that.
Excellent.
And then,
And just on that, I mean, I think it's, I mentioned kind of, teen family focus, but really it's information that I think anyone within our community would benefit from.
Yes.
Sure.
I talk with seniors all the time who are very interested in the mental health and wellness of our youth, and so everyone is welcome to any of these sessions.
course.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows that.
and
So,
even parents of younger children to see maybe what can you prevent or what do you need to be aware of.
be aware of, absolutely.
And another one of the sessions, so Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services is now the clinical provider for Westborough Youth and Family Services. And they are going to be presenting a mini version of their Mental Health 101 for adults and seniors.
Awesome.
So you can go to that. And
Great.
then, all day long, there's kind of another information session that Mary can tell us a little bit about, which will be happening throughout the day, and that's a drop-in.
So it's a drop-in session. It's called Hidden in Plain Sight. One of the classrooms will be turned into a teenage bedroom where parents can walk through, and I think you'd be amazed at where kids can hide different things they should not be using, paraphernalia, the drugs themselves. And I think it's a great tool for parents of teenagers.
I did that walkthrough. I had the opportunity to do it in 2 different locations, one last year and then at another location previous to that. And it is always a learning experience. It's really something, honestly, as a parent, you go, is this really ever going to happen to my kid? I mean, there is that
yeah.
that
Yep.
sort of lens, right? But then you walk through it, you go like, how would I know, right? And then there's always that balance of like your child's privacy and
Right.
but yet keeping them safe. So
Sure.
it's a great exhibit. If folks can make time to do that, I think that they will find it very beneficial.
I agree.
And I would even say, I know it's adolescent based, but as people age, right, they become maybe more private, and they, I mean, it's not just for youth, is what I would say.
It could be children returning from college who have come home
Yeah.
while
It
they're
could be
waiting to find a
seniors.
job.
I mean, it could be,
seniors.
like
Correct.
so I think
Yeah.
it's relevant for all.
I agree.
Yeah, and there'll be representatives from the Worcester County District Attorney's Office who will be there to talk to people and show you and walk you through.
Excellent, great. And of course, we always have food. You have to have food.
Right?
Right.
I mean, you need some light refreshments.
Right.
Those are free as
Right.
well. If you need a break from things, come sit down. Just be in community.
Right, right. And there are some raffles and
Door prizes and raffles. You get a chance to enter just by walking in the door. You'll
know.
be given a raffle ticket, and you can pick which one you want to put the ticket in and
excellent.
hopefully win a prize.
Excellent. And this event, I think you mentioned at the beginning, Laura, but it's free to all.
It
right?
is
Free to all.
open to
You're
all,
correct.
all ages, and it's like come whenever you want during that time period. Stay as long as you want.
Sure. You are asking folks to kind of save a seat. Is that
Yes,
correct?
for
Can you
the
talk
info
about that?
sessions and the active sessions, just to give our instructors kind of a sense, and also to kind of put it on your calendar. I find if I need to sign up for something, then I write it down and I kind of stick to it a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah, so on our website, hopefully by next week, you'll see a link to that where you can kind of save your seat. But if you forget, we always want to
Yeah.
welcome you in the door as well. It's just kind of a
Right.
reminder to yourself and a
Yeah.
commitment to yourself to get yourself there.
Right,
And
absolutely.
in the door.
Absolutely, yeah. And Westborough TV has that
Yes.
westboroughconnects.org information and
Yep.
program link,
And the
so
schedule.
that would be great.
Yeah.
So all of this happens. Tell us the community really about the Square One team. What is it? How did it come to be? And
Sure.
and maybe if folks want to get involved, how might they do that?
Yeah, well, the collaboration came about, I believe 2018 was the first time different groups came together and wanted to put on a program. And really, it's all about listening to the wants and needs of the community, listening to the feedback, listening to the topics that people want to hear, all again surrounded about substance use prevention and mental health. It really is a working team. We get together at least once a month trying to figure out what kind of programming we want to do and what we want to focus on, and then it's just a team effort to
Sure.
get the programs, up and running. We do have, volunteers from the community who are part of a team who are always welcome. They can contact any one of
Sure.
us if they have an interest in this area and want to be part of the planning. Always welcome.
Sure.
We rely on volunteers, not just for the planning, also for
Right.
the day of. There, you'll see many volunteers that day
Sure.
helping make the program a success. So absolutely reach out to Westborough Connects, to any of the partners if you're interested in getting involved.
Excellent. And speaking of volunteers, are more volunteers needed for this event?
Always.
Always. Okay. Never say no to a volunteer.
Always,
willing.
always.
Okay.
Yes,
Great. And what
volunteers
are
are
some of
needed.
the things that a volunteer might do?
Sure. So, we have volunteers helping all the time, whether it's before an event, hanging up flyers, getting the word out. And then that day we have people who are welcoming people in the door, directing people down the hallway, reminding people that a session is starting, being at the table checking in an exhibitor. There are a lot of roles and a lot of things needed, helping people to the refreshments, reminding people to put their raffle tickets. There's
Yep.
really a big host. We have at Westborough Connects, we have a volunteer engagement coordinator, Tracy, and she is in charge of, there are a lot of slots to fill.
And if someone wanted to volunteer for that day, what would be the easiest and most
best way?
direct way to do that?
I would say to get in touch with Tracy,
Okay.
our volunteer engagement coordinator. It's tracykonnects2@gmail.com.
Okay.
Or always on westboroughconnects.org, there's a way to email directly, and our
Correct.
executive director gets that
Excellent.
as well. And can
If I
lead
may
you.
interject,
Yeah,
I'm a new
sure.
volunteer, only been with this group about 2 years. Laura sort of coaxed me over to the table at the farmer's market a couple of years ago, and I had just recently retired from full-time work and doing just
your
part-time
profession?
work now. And I'm a registered nurse and have been for 50 years, so I felt like I could help, maybe. And especially with this Square One Collaborative, mental health is near and dear to my heart. My dad suffered from it, 2 boys I had. Anyways, I wanted to really be involved and see if I could offer my help. So, and I love volunteering. It's a great group. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We do a lot of great things, but we also have a great time.
Yeah.
Wonderful people.
Yeah, Mary, this is obviously a big initiative. How much time do you sort of commit to this as a volunteer? I'm just curious.
Well, we meet once a month.
Yeah.
Usually that's about an hour at a time, an hour and a half. Sometimes the big fairs, they take a lot. It's a 3-hour fair, but the whole thing probably is about a 6-hour day by the time
Yeah.
we prep and help people and clean up afterwards and so forth. But all in all, it's a commitment of probably 4 or 5 hours a month.
Okay.
It's not a huge commitment, and you can say no.
Yeah.
I had to learn that as a mature adult. It's okay to say no to
Yeah.
things. You don't have to do
Sure.
everything all the time to everybody. You don't.
Yeah. And what do you get out of volunteering?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a social connection for me. It's a heartfelt connection for me. I've met some amazing people. I'm fairly new in Westborough, so I don't know. I love the community
Yeah.
involvement. It's something I've always wanted to do. My dad was big into volunteering, so wasn't my mother.
Yeah.
They taught that to me years ago, so I feel like it's my turn to give back.
Yeah, well, and you had enjoyed a great long career, and now you've got some time, and
Yeah.
and I think it's great to have free time, but sort of idle time sometimes can be
Not
lonely,
good.
and yeah, it's
Not
it's
good.
not necessarily good. So before we wrap up. None of this, I mean, you mentioned that volunteers are essential, but funding is also a key piece of any event, because whether it's, you're looking for refreshments or, the signs or whatever it is, there's a component that costs money.
Yeah, we always say free to attend, but not free to produce, and
Right.
it's very true.
Right.
We do. We rely on donations and support.
Sure.
So thank you.
And,
giving
yeah,
that
and
lead.
so please speak
Yes.
to kind of the key sponsors for this
Sure.
event and whatever else you'd like to
Yeah,
share.
thank you. Yeah, so because of the generous donation of Reliant Foundation, Central One Federal Credit Union, Grossman Development Group, Avidia Bank, Charitable Foundation, the Rotary Club of Westborough, Alternatives for Youth Foundation, as well as Synergy Wellness Center, we are able to put on this program for the community for free. Another really cool aspect that I think is a cool aspect
Yes.
of this program, we did it last year and we're bringing it back, thanks to Dolan and Maloney Insurance and Thomas Financial. Just for walking in the door, the first 50 people who walk in that door, $20 will be donated for National Alliance for Mental Illness to their Stigma Free campaign.
Right.
They are the largest grassroots organization focused on mental health.
Yep.
There are local chapters,
Yep.
but they have a Stigma Free campaign. It's all about education, getting resources in people's hands, and supporting
Yep.
everyone, which is the exact mission of,
Correct.
Yeah.
of this
Yep.
event. So we are thrilled that those two groups agreed again to donate the $20 per head for the first 50 people. So last year we did it. We
Yep.
raised $1,000 for that alliance, and we're hoping to do it again.
Sure. I remember last year, so I was a greeter at last year's event, and I remember telling people about just by walking in, you are contributing to kind of the National Alliance, but you're making a difference in the mental health of others, and people were like, "Wow, that's really cool!" Like
Yeah.
just by coming. So it was a feel good thing. So let's certainly get a minimum of 50,
Minimum.
but
Right.
we'd love to see the gym packed and all of that. So again, let's go over the date here. Sunday, September 8th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Westborough High School. Fall for Wellness, not into, Fall for Wellness. For information, westboroughconnects.org. This program is brought to you by Square One, the Square One Collaborative, and many groups as part of that. And more information can be found through the links provided on the site. I want to thank my guests, Laura and Mary, for being on today. So good to see you both again. Go out and check it out, and I'll be right back with some other updates around town. Hi, welcome back to the 01581 Let's Talk. I'm the host, Shelby Marshall, and I'm joined by General Manager Karen Henderson here from Westborough TV. Karen, welcome.
Great, thanks for having me. I again, you don't really have much choice when I'm here and I'm the general manager. If I want on the show,
You
I
just
get on the
walk
show.
in,
Yes,
right?
I
Give
just
her a
come in
microphone.
and let me talk. No,
Yeah.
I wanted to give an update because it has been a couple months since we were here. Steve Hart and I, who's the president of my board, were here talking about the streaming bill that was at the state level. I know some people had heard about that. But unfortunately, that did not make it through this session. So I just wanted to give people an update on that. It did end up as an amendment to the Senate Economic Development Bill. And although we had the third highest number of co-sponsors for the hundreds of amendments that get added, the chair of that committee was not in support as opposed to the bill. I think some of the lobbyists from the streaming companies maybe get the ear of some of our representatives, and so it didn't go through this time. So we will be back at it, but that's unfortunate because, of course, the reason we were hopeful about that is because we're facing kind of the diminishing finances based on people cutting the cord and cable subscribers decreasing, which is how we get paid.
Right.
So,
And I'll be a little, you presented that very eloquently and I'll say politically correct. I'll be a little, take a slightly edgier approach. I think that part of the way in which, or the reason that it was, the amendment was killed was because of a select individual or maybe individuals believing that public access TV is sort of by the wayside and that streaming is the way to go, and that and I want to say that they couldn't be more wrong because Karen's going to tell you in just a minute here about all the work that is ahead of Westborough TV, providing important coverage on a wide range of areas of interest and events. And the issue is that people are cutting the cord, which it is what it is. Streaming is kind of the new way that we watch things. I think, I don't want to say everyone does it, but many of us do. But that revenue, every time that cord is cut, it's like a little slice of the pie that goes away from Westborough TV because that's how they're funded. And that is a reality, and Westborough TV is facing a, I'm going to use the word financial crisis, and that is why, Karen, we're going to start talking about fundraising here, right?
Right,
which is not something you've ever done.
Right. No, we haven't. I mean, we've had the luxury of the cable companies paying for Westborough TV. So,
and they do that because, not out of the generosity of their hearts, but they have access to our public utilities and lines, right? And
exactly.
That's part of the way.
And that's the way it works, is they will give a percentage of their gross annual revenues toward local access. And that happens in most towns in Massachusetts. That's actually a federal bill. Right. So,
and it's subscriber based, so that's
correct.
why. So every time someone, user moves off, then
right.
that, and it's like a slow. It's like an air leak in the raft,
exactly.
right? Where you're like, you know what, we're losing air here. We don't know where, but it's just pinholes.
Somebody's got to find that. Yeah. So so that's just it's this slow and steady decline in those revenues, and it's made sense to us to the funding to follow the viewing habits. So if people used to watch cable, but now they're streaming, then to just have that funding shift. Right. But the legislature has not seen to do that quite yet. We will try again next year. When Senator Moore was here, we got a chance to talk to him off camera about that, and he was encouraging us to keep at it. He's a huge supporter.
He is.
And just saying, a lot of times it takes multiple sessions before something goes through. So we will continue that. And in the meantime, there will be some fundraising type activities that we'll be doing. That's not going to fill the void of our operating budget, but it will help. And we've been doing things. We started our camps again this summer, so we just finished our 4th week of camp, but that's again, a small revenue generator. But there'll be things like that. So the public will start to see some of that where we haven't asked for donations before. We'll be doing some of that, at the end of our programming, things like that.
And I think, again, you and I spent a lot of time here. I have a fair amount of information about Westborough TV because I'm so involved, but many people just think that Westborough TV is part of the town.
Right.
And so they're like, wait, fundraising for the town? Help me understand that. So
Right.
Can you set the
Yes.
record straight?
Yeah, so we don't, none of the funding comes from the town right now. There's an agreement and a contract entered into with the cable companies, and then the funding from their gross annual revenues comes direct to Westborough TV as a nonprofit to provide cable-related services to the town.
Right.
So that's kind of how we've existed, and there's not currently, it's not built into taxes or anything in the town right now.
Exactly.
So
And yet the work that you really do, right, is greatly supportive of town government, schools, et cetera. And so that's
Absolutely.
a good segue to what's coming up.
Yeah, so just to give people a little bit of fall starts to end of summer. Fall is a really busy time for us. It's always really exciting. We have not only schools starting up again, so we've got sports that we cover and concerts. We do a lot of live streaming of all of that out for folks. But then also we have journalism students in here. So we love when we get the journalism students back. They come in from Westborough High. Usually we have them in a few times a week, and they take over and they do their anchoring here and their Lobby-O newsletter. So if you've had a chance to tune into that, and I love that. I always think some people say, well, my kid is not going to go into journalism, or that might not be in their future. I always talk about how we really try to teach kids how to tell a story.
Sure.
And you need to be able to speak and carry yourself and tell a story no matter what career you might go
Right.
into.
Right.
And it's a really good thing for them to get used to, kind of raising it above the teenage kind of interactions
absolutely.
and all.
Right.
So we love that. And then we have so many things going on in the public. You just had our guests in talking about the event in September. And we have Arts in Common, and there's a Connects pickleball tournament, and we go and we cover all of those events for the nonprofits and all. And then fall ends up being a big deal leading up to town meeting. Lots and lots of town meeting.
And it's not just, and it's multiple committees. So an example of some of the meetings that our viewers can watch through Westborough TV.
Sure. So we cover, and again, live streamed and then available afterwards for viewing. If anyone ever has any problems finding them, just give us a call. But they're all out on our Westborough TV YouTube channel, and we also replay them on TV. So we've got lots
Hence
of
the streaming part, YouTube
Correct.
streaming. Go ahead.
Correct.
Sorry, I had to say it.
I know, get that in. Yes, but then we have, AFC will have Advisory Finance Committee. will have a couple meetings a week. The Select Board, as you well know, has multiple meetings before town meeting. Planning Board, School Committee, and then we cover other committees as well, Economic Development Committee, Municipal Building. So things like the golf club and keeping track of what's
renovation
going on with
project.
that
Yep.
renovation project. We're covering those meetings. And the community center, of course.
Yep.
So
And the library building project as well.
exactly.
Right.
So people can go, and if you want to hear, and again, you can watch it on TV, but you can also watch it on YouTube even after the fact. You can, if you want to listen to it a little more efficiently, you can 1.25 speed it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Right.
But just to make it a little more efficient. But we cover all of those. And yes, all the community center, the few meetings that we just had recently, we've been covering those, and anything that happens before town meeting we'll be covering as well.
Excellent.
So it's exciting, a lot going on.
you guys have a lot going on, and you do it with a small but mighty staff. So
They're great. They're great.
So speaking of the community center, I just want to give folks an update. So the survey process has closed. The town received over 1,000 surveys. So thank you to everyone who submitted their feedback. The town and the OPM, or the Owner's Project Manager, provided 3 sessions. Again, Karen just mentioned those were all recorded. They were provided at various times. As a recommendation, the 3rd session sort of was like a really good summary, so suggest you watch the last one and then go back if you want some more information. The next steps are that the OPM and the architect are working together to basically take all the input that was provided, not only through the surveys, but through the many focus groups that were hosted and through which feedback was provided. That will be consolidated, and they will basically come up with a couple different iterations or designs. At that point in September, don't have an exact date, there will be an opportunity for further public comment. The format of which I'm not going to go into here, but there will be multiple ways in which people can provide that format, and obviously public sessions in which to do so. So I know it's a topic of great interest for the community. Appreciate everyone's engagement thus far, but there's still a lot of work to do. And the plan is to have design estimates ready for the October fall town meeting in 2024. So lots of work to be done between now and then to meet that deadline. And I think that'll cover it for now. Hope to have our town manager on our next episode to provide an update on other government happenings. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the 01581 Let's Talk. Take care of each other, take care of yourself, and lots to do in Westborough this fall and as we wrap up the summer. So get out there and enjoy it. Thanks.